It's dark outside. The world is quiet, asleep. But somewhere, a light is on. A journal is open. A mind is focused. And a decision already made. While most people are still turning in their beds, a small group of people are turning the world. The question is, why? What do they know that we don't? This isn't just about billionaires. It's about what happens in the quiet hours before sunrise, and how those hours might just change your life. Today, we talk about the 5 a.m. secret. Not just why they do it, but why maybe you should too. Most people don't know this, but there's a world that exists before the rest of the world wakes up. While the streets are still quiet, before the notifications start buzzing, before the world starts pulling you in all directions, there's a pocket of time rare, undisturbed, almost sacred. It's 5 a.m. To some, it sounds like punishment. To others, it's a doorway into clarity, control, and quiet creation. Think about this. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, starts his day at 3:45 a.m. Oprah? She's up before the sun. Jack Dorsey, former Twitter CEO? 5 a.m. sharp, followed by meditation and a 6-mile jog. Even Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, used to train at 4 a.m., long before the world had even hit snooze. What do these people know that the rest of us don't? There's something about the early morning that rewires your brain. Science backs it up. Your cortisol levels spike naturally around 5 to 6 a.m. That's your alertness hormone. Your brain is primed to focus. No distractions. No noise. Just you and your thoughts. Dopamine, the motivation chemical, gets a boost too, if you structure your morning right. But more than chemicals, it's about access. Access to a version of yourself untouched by pressure. Access to your own voice before the world starts shouting over it. And in that silence, something powerful happens. You can think clearly. You can plan without panic. You can finally hear the ideas you've been too busy to notice. That's what most people miss. They think 5 a.m. is about being productive. But it's deeper than that. It's about who you become in the stillness. And that's what the top 1% are tapping into. So what exactly happens at 5 a.m.? It's not magic. It's not hustle for the sake of hustle. It's intention. Focus. A system, one that the world's most successful people repeat daily. Let's start with this truth. How you start the day is how you run your life. At 5 a.m., the world is quiet. But inside that stillness, billionaires are building momentum, and here's how they do it. 1. Deep work, thinking without distraction. At 5 a.m., there are no emails, no messages, no meetings. It's a rare moment when your brain is fully yours. Cal Newport, in his book Deep Work, calls this uninterrupted concentration a superpower in the modern world. And billionaires know this. Jeff Bezos used his early hours to make high-impact decisions. Bill Gates schedules thinking time to sit alone, journal, and wrestle with big ideas. For them, 5 a.m. is not about grinding, it's about strategic thought. They're not reacting to the world. They're designing it. And because they think when others are asleep, they make decisions that others never see coming. 2. The morning routine, rituals that build resilience. Most billionaires don't wake up and scroll Instagram. Their mornings are choreographed like a well-rehearsed dance. Here's what a typical 5 a.m. routine might include. Journaling to reflect, set intentions, and process emotions. Meditation to cultivate calm, presence, and mental sharpness. Exercise to wake the body, boost dopamine, and build discipline. Reading or learning to feed the brain before the day begins. Planning to define priorities instead of chasing them. It's not about checking boxes. It's about owning the first hour and letting it set the tone for everything else. Because here's the thing, if you win the morning, the rest of the day starts to bend in your favor. 3. Daily architecture, momentum plus compound gains. Imagine starting every day with clarity, focus, and discipline. Now imagine doing that for a week, a month, a year. The benefits don't just add up, they compound. That's why the 5 a.m. habit creates long-term transformation. It's not just what you get done in the morning, it's what it makes possible for the rest of your life. Robin Sharma, author of the 5 a.m. Club, says it best. Success leaves clues. And those clues show up at 5 a.m. That hour becomes a launch pad, a runway, A private gym for your mind, body, and soul while the rest of the world is still dreaming. 4. Discipline builds identity. There's one more hidden benefit. Waking up early is hard. But that's the point. When you do hard things, especially when no one is watching, you start to believe something powerful about yourself. I do what others won't. I show up. I'm not average. Over time, that becomes your identity. And identity is the foundation of behavior. You no longer need motivation. You have standards. And all of that? It starts at 5 a.m. Let's be honest. Waking up at 5 a.m. sounds extreme to most people, especially if you're not a CEO, an athlete, or a best-selling author. But this isn't about being them. This is about being more of you. Because the truth is, you don't need millions in the bank to do what the top 1% do. You don't need a yacht, a personal chef, or a productivity coach. All you need is a choice. If 5 a.m. feels too far right now, start with 6 a.m. Even 6:30. Start with 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes of silence before the noise of the world begins. No notifications. No expectations. Just you, your thoughts, and a blank page. You'd be surprised what rises up when the world is still. Because here's the real secret. The battle is not between you and the clock. It's between you and your comfort zone. And winning that battle each morning, even just once, builds something stronger than motivation. It builds momentum. The more you do it, the more you begin to recognize yourself again. Not the tired, reactive version of you who rolls out of bed already behind, but the focused, grounded, intentional version, the one with direction. So try it. Not for a year. Not even for a month. Just 7 days. Try waking up earlier than usual. Give yourself the gift of your own attention. Use that time for clarity, not scrolling. For vision, not panic. For building, not reacting. Because here's the quiet truth. You don't need permission to start becoming who you were meant to be. You just need an alarm clock, a decision, and the first hour of your day. If this spoke to you, even just a little, I'd love to hear what your mornings look like. Drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. And if you're thinking about trying it, consider liking this video so it shows up when you need a reminder. Subscribe if you're on a journey of growth. No fluff, no hype, just real, grounded transformation. We're building something deep here,